I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you.
Welcome.
What's up, everybody? I'm Fool.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Main One, and we're Unplugged Free Your Mind, a show where we discuss an array of topics, current events, and world news from an unfiltered, unbiased, and unplugged point of view.
Absolutely.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome.
Episode 25.
Yes.
Season finale. We're gonna go out with a bang.
That's funny because I was actually thinking the same thing. This is it. So, we're going to break. What that means, people, is that we're just going to take a break for the summertime, and then we'll be right back with y'all in the fall. So We'll keep you updated with the dates.
Yeah, we'll keep some content going. We got our mainstay Fu. He's always going live, so he'll go live from time to time from here, and we'll keep y'all updated on a whole bunch of stuff. But we appreciate y'all for these past 24 episodes. We appreciate the love, appreciate the subscribes, the like, the shares, everything.
We've come a long way.
A long way.
I remember when we started, we had like 5 or 6 followers on YouTube, and we're up to how many now? I mean, it's y'all done it for us. So
absolutely, there's no us without y'all. So without further ado, how was everybody's weekend? I know Jay, you had a big weekend, so let's get it.
Yeah, you know what? I want to start with you. Happy Father's Day. Yesterday was Father's Day, and I, text you to see what was going on, to say Happy Father's Day. And, I hope I actually hit everybody up just to say Happy Father's Day, because I don't think it gets the notoriety that Mother's Day get.
Yeah.
I think, it's a little different, but I just feel like, you have to take time out just to say, you know what? Thank you for being you. Thank you for being there, and thank you for being that dad that kids need.
But why is it different though? I mean that is why is it different? Me and my father-in-law, we talked about this Saturday because we had a little get together, and we just joked about it, and we always joke about it every year.
Yeah.
But it's like for the run up from Mother's Day, it's like soon after Valentine's Day, it's like Mother's Day. And then Father's Day is like the week before Father's Day. It's like, hey, we have Father's Day sale. Come look out for your dad the week before Father's Day. It's like, damn, what kind of shit is that? Yeah,
the advertisements for Father's Day start like the first week of June. When I first started seeing advertisements, on TV and on the internet. So I don't know why. I be honest with you, I don't know why it's like that. But I have noticed a disparity in the two. So,
Yeah.
I just want you to know, y'all are very important. Very important. So happy Father's Day. What you do for it?
You get the disparity in gifts too.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Hey, you open them cards thinking it's gonna be something in there. It ain't nothing. it's some notes from your kids, which is beautiful.
Aww.
Your kids write you notes or whatever, but it's beautiful. But it's like, oh, y'all find money for mama, but for me, it's like, my pocket's tapped out, pops. Happy Father's Day.
Yeah. Oh. So, how'd you do? I mean, did you get something you liked? Did you get some rest relaxation?
I did, especially yesterday. Yesterday, I ain't do shit yesterday. Excuse my French. I ain't do nothing. I laid in the bed. I took me a nap. My mom called me because I was supposed to be coming over there because she had cooked some food for me and my brother. So she called me. She was like, I thought you were supposed to be coming over here. I was like, shit. So I put on some clothes real quick, shot over there. She got it 82 degrees in the house. I ain't stay over there too long because I'm like, bro, it's hot. I thought I saw the devil sitting over there on the couch. I'm like, man, bro, what is happening,
No, well,
bro?
listen. So again, I hope you had a nice, happy Father's Day. That's to all the fathers, even even the men out there who don't have kids, your mentors, to different children, So happy Father's Day. I hope y'all enjoyed
Appreciate
it.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
did. I did a little giveaway. Rich State of Mind. We did a giveaway Saturday. I was giving away some shirts Saturday, so
Really?
I shipped some out. Just trying to show the love and appreciation for the dads. So it was
Yeah.
a giveaway for the fathers. So did that. Still got a few left that I'm gonna give away, but I'm gonna do that Wednesday. So, but
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, Wednesday. I mean, this weekend was quiet for me. So what about you, Food? We'll let you go last because I know you had a big weekend. So what you got? What you had going on this weekend?
Me?
Me
Oh,
or
Boo.
Jay?
Food.
Boo,
Um,
you.
well, I haven't been saying exactly what I'm doing up here, but I've been talking
Right.
to Maine about it. Let's just say yesterday, 7:40.
Okay.
So
Nice.
you know what that is. He know what that
Yep.
is. I'm not
Yeah.
going for everybody else out there. It's a little inside thing, but let's just say yesterday was on point.
Nice. Nice. Always a good thing. Always a
Yeah.
good thing.
So, but for me, y'all know it's grind mode. So when you start factoring in days, weekends, and everything like that, for me, it's just about grinding and doing what I need to do. And as we get into the show, I'll express my frustration of certain things that I'm seeing, and it's getting worse. It's definitely getting worse. And with this being our last show, um, before we take this hiatus, I'm going to pretty much kind of go in even deeper because certain things that are happening. It's sad that people just don't know. It's amazing how the mainstream media has decided to just the soap the dawn soap they got to brainwash people. That's some strong shit. That's some strong, powerful shit.
Wow.
Okay. I'm gonna make a ticker just for you, just for your segment. It's gonna be your segment.
Absolutely. So yeah, I had a pretty progressive weekend. I just entertained all weekend and I got a lot of rest yesterday. That was my weekend in a nutshell. Of course, it was Juneteenth Saturday. So
Right.
I actually ended up working that day, but it was a labor of love. Working for some friends in Connecticut, and I enjoyed myself. I really did. I had a really good time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you enjoyed your brand new federal whitewashed Juneteenth holiday.
Well, personally, I've always celebrated Juneteenth.
No, I got you. No, I got you. What I'm saying, but
Oh,
now
now
Oh,
that
since
it's
hold
you
up.
a federal
Hold,
actually
holiday,
hold on. Wait. We gonna get into that. We
okay,
gonna get into that. We gonna
yeah, we
get into
are
that.
gonna get into that. I can cut mine short. I had a great
Yeah.
weekend. Thanks for the people that came out Friday night. Y'all know who you are. And Saturday night, and so we can go and get right on into it.
Yeah, we got a couple videos that we gonna load up and see. We not even gonna do current events because really this is the current event.
This is the
So
current event.
this is the current event. So we gonna let me find this.
Juneteenth was about where race was in 1865. The way to deal with Juneteenth now is to deal with where race is in 2021. What do I mean by that? It is no profile in courage for the U.S. Senate to unanimously vote to make Juneteenth a federal holiday, and the same U.S. Senate can't get 10 Republicans to vote for the Voting Rights Bill or the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. You are voting for what happened 165 years ago, Senate, but ignoring what's happening now.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of Al Sharpton, but what he says, it makes sense.
Absolutely.
I can smoke a bag of that, as I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it made a lot of sense to me. And the thing is, it's cool or whatever that they made it a federal holiday. Okay, cool. But I don't think my thing is let's not let that distort really what we have going on right now. And I think that that's what he was conveying. There are bills that we need pushed through the Senate now that's I'm not going to say it's more important than Juneteenth, but technically Juneteenth has been a official state holiday in the state of Texas, and if I'm not mistaken, a couple of the surrounding states as well. Them doing this on the federal level, I mean, it's okay. Let's live in the moment, okay? It's a step towards something, but let's not let that you know blind us, or they're giving us something shiny now. They're dangling in our face, and they're not addressing the real issues that we're having as of today. That's my thing. Juneteenth is fine. The federal holiday is fine or whatever. But there are other things that I think that they should be passing through Senate, that they should be voting on collectively. Mm-hmm. That's long overdue. Go ahead, one.
What you say, Fu?
I can't. Yeah, you already know. I can't take Slick back serious anymore because he got that shot. So I'm good. I'm good. I guess because I'm to the point now where they quick to call out motherfuckers about shit, but once again, where's the action? And it shows that power is not there, because I'm sick of seeing somebody like an Al Sharpton, whoever else might say something, when everybody in the constituents of those people, if you got an issue, that needs to be publicized. Bitching and moaning and complaining, but cats ain't gonna do that because it's too much like work. And because of the stipulations that have been given to us, think about it, that prevents people from wanting to assemble. Most people don't want, they might believe in the cause, but they don't want to assemble because they think they got to stand 6 feet away from each other. What kind of protest you gonna have with people 6 feet away from each other? That make no sense.
Yeah.
They smart as fuck. So
yeah,
like I said, I agree with you. What he's saying is correct. But once again, where is the action behind it? And the action can't come from somebody speaking in front of a camera. It has to be a bunch of people saying something about it.
Right, because guess what? Al Sharpton ain't an elected official.
Exactly.
So him saying something, yeah, well, that's great. I appreciate it. I appreciate what he said. But, to me, it's an oxymoron to recognize Juneteenth, but not the hardships that us as Black people were put under and still suffering from. It's an oxymoron, because most people who know already celebrate Juneteenth, have already been celebrating Juneteenth, regardless of a federal holiday. And me and Jay, we talked about this earlier. I grew up in New York, Jewish teachers or whatever. Hey, we were off Jewish holidays. We didn't even know what the hell we was off of. We just know it was a Jewish holiday because most of the teachers were Jewish. You know what I'm saying? But they took it upon themselves to make those holidays. They didn't have no federal holidays, but those teachers band together and said, hey, we ain't going to work because this is what I believe in and we not going to work. So they had to make it, federal for those days to be off. So, I mean, giving a holiday, what does that really mean? So this country is built off of capitalism, right? So now we got another holiday where these big corporations are going to make money off of Juneteenth. Now Walmart, you're going to see Walmart selling the Juneteenth t-shirts. You're going to see Target selling the Juneteenth t-shirts. Amazon selling the Juneteenth t-shirts. So it's all about capitalism. So is it really about capitalism, or is it really about us, or is it really about capitalism? To me, it's like everybody who's had a baby or been around a baby, when a baby crying and whining, what's the first thing you looking for? A goddamn pacifier to shut their ass up. And that's all this was to me, in my opinion, was a damn pacifier. They sucked it. Y'all talking this reparation shit. Y'all talking this reform shit. Take this damn shit and shove it in your mouth and shut the fuck up. And most people are satisfied with that. Most people who just walking around don't really give a shit about nothing. They just like, all right, cool, we got a holiday, another holiday, but when is this fucking holiday? Juneteenth. Okay, it ain't a holiday for the kids because the kids out of school, teachers out of school. Ain't but 33% of black people have federal jobs. So who's this holiday for? That's all. I mean, that's all I would tell people to just look at that when you so quick to celebrate something that they give you and they disregard everything else that needs to happen.
If you wanna give me something, give our people federal contractor jobs. When these bridges and shit got to be built, give us motherfucking some tax-free shit. They can always give us some shit that can be based on symbolism, and like you said, that they can capitalize off. But if we ain't gonna be able to benefit from that shit, fuck out of here. That's funny, my man. This shit is the theater that this is hilarious, and we got a front row seat. And these motherfuckers, they've given away popcorn too.
Yeah. So in lieu of the news of the Juneteenth, I'm gonna play another video, and then I got a couple questions that I want to ask everybody who's watching. I'm definitely gonna ask y'all, and so I just want to play these videos so I can give like a kind of backstory of where these questions kind of came from. So hey Tanya, so I'm gonna play this first video.
Sure.
Who are fleeing murder capitals of the world. There are children who are fleeing murder capitals of the world, who have fled, most of them, murder capitals of the world. We have families that are fleeing murder capitals of the world. A mother who pays a coyote. Imagine a mother who makes a decision to pay a coyote. When a mother pays a coyote, often through a caravan with a coyote even, to transport her child through their country of origin, through the entire country of Mexico, of traveling through the entire country of Mexico, to transport her child across the entire country of Mexico, through the entire country of Mexico. It was safer for them to take that trek through Mexico, facing unknown peril, facing unknown peril, facing unknown peril, in what they know could be a perilous journey. We have always presented ourselves as being a nation of strength with strong arms, the strong arms of America. Part of the strength of our nation is supposed to be that we have strong arms. That when people are fleeing harm, we will embrace them. Which will embrace and protect anyone fleeing or facing harm. Should be here to receive anyone who is fleeing harm.
I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come.
But what does Donald Trump do? But what does this president do? He virtually looks at those children and says, go back to where you came from. Not to flick them away and say, go back to where you came from. And that's the kind of policy we've had from this administration. He says, go back to where you came from. That is not reflective of our America and our values, and it's got to end.
And I believe if you come to our border, you will be turned back.
That's just one. The one thing I can say is she's phenomenal in memorizing that script. Phenomenal. Because she was on point on damn near every damn point she was talking about. I got to give her kudos to that. She was on point with that. But I played that because hold on, let me play this other one first. Everybody who knows me know I'm a big fan of The Wire.
He will if he can, that's my point.
Well, what's the point?
The point is that Maury Levy is a past officer of the Monumental Bar Association. And unless I want to spend my whole life as a fucking ASA, I can't spend my afternoons pissing on people who matter.
Another career in the balance.
Fuck you.
No, fuck you. If only half you motherfuckers in the state's attorney's office didn't want to be judges, didn't want to be partners in some downtown law firm, if half of you had the fucking balls to follow through, you know what would happen? A guy like that would be indicted, tried, and convicted. And the rest of them would back up enough so we could push a clean case or two through your courthouse. But no, everybody stays friends, everybody gets paid, and everybody's got a fucking future.
American politics. So the question I want to ask is, why do black people think the political system, the way it's currently set up, works for them?
Hope.
I guess,
Hope.
yeah. Hope.
And this for anybody who's watching it.
It's amazing to me. It really is amazing to me how I can understand being an optimist. I totally get it. But you also have to be a realist. And I truly do hate the fact that people are so quick to bring up how voting can change X, Y, Z. I get the premise of why they're saying it, but when you look at the reality, it just doesn't happen. I literally had a conversation earlier with one of my friends, and he's telling me how much better we're off because Biden is in office. And I asked him specifically, tell me something that 45 did specifically that harmed us. Give me one thing. Couldn't do it. Then he said something about Obama, and I said, give me one thing Obama specifically did for us. He was like, healthcare. No. I don't care that it affected us. Give me something specific. He kept harping on healthcare. No, my man, that's not it. No, stop it. That's the shit that we got, that we deal with, because motherfuckers, it's that premise, it's that hope of what they think, and it's that portrayal of what cats think that's reality. No, they don't give a fuck. Well, how could you say this, that, whatever? Because they can do shit specifically for other people, but they don't do shit for us. Since that's the case, fuck all of them. Told me I threw my vote away because I voted for Bernie Sanders. How the fuck did I thought that's my vote? I voted for who the fuck I thought could be president, who I wanted to be president compared to the other two, because I don't vote for the lesser two evils.
That's
fuck
your business.
all of them.
Yeah. That's your business.
The biggest takeaway and the reason why I played that is because I wanted people to see how you can see somebody who, what they say when they don't have power, and then what they say when they do have power. So this is what happens in the political sphere. And I had this conversation with, I was in the clubhouse room yesterday, and this girl was damn near in tears because she was like, why can't, and this is where I got this question from. She was like, why can't we escape this plantation of voting for Democrats and all this kind of, she said she was damn near in tears. And then, I had a guy in there, he was saying, well, you got to vote, you just don't know how to use the system and stuff like that. And I'm like, bro, I said, I understand exactly what you're saying. Everybody always say, well, you have to vote, you have to get your person in and hold them accountable. If you don't hold them accountable, then you get them out, and then you get you another guy in. Well, the current system that we're set up in is that anybody that you put in position that you think is going to be for you, once they get indoctrinated in that system, once they assimilate into this system, this corrupt system that we have here, you're going to see the result as what you see with Kamala Harris. Now, if you took the video away and listened to what she was saying, you would have thought that was Donald Trump. They were saying exactly the same thing. He said don't come. She said don't come. But it's okay when she says it, but it wasn't okay when he said it. Now, and that's just because the media has the agenda to pander who they want to pander to. You didn't hear no backlash about her saying what she said about people not coming. No backlash from the media, nobody. You probably ain't even heard her say that. Most people didn't hear her say that. But they focus on the messenger instead of the message. And that's the problem. What you think about that, Jay?
Yeah, I'm just curious now the context in which he said it. If this was Guatemala, we know the issues that's going on with that.
Right.
And so I kind of get why, because that's like, all the trafficking and corruption that's going on. And for me, what I got out of it was her saying that we are going to secure our border, so there won't be any illegal that going on.
Right.
But go ahead.
But that's the same thing Trump was saying. He said, if you come over here and do what you're supposed to do, go through the legal process of getting over here, that's fine. They said the same exact thing. But what's funny is she said and we watched her a whole minute of saying, you can come, you can come, you can come, you can come. But once you're in power, now you're saying something different. And that's the whole, in a nutshell, that's the problem with our political system, because we have so many people, especially with this Juneteenth thing. So we have since 1960, we've had over 10,000 Black elected officials. How much economic movement have we made as a people in those 40 plus, 60 plus years? Not much, because the racial wealth gap is the average Black family has $17,000 worth of wealth, and the average white family has $171,000 in wealth. 10 times the wealth. So when you talk about movement and economics, it ain't happened. And we got our so-called people in place, but they're really not our people, because they're being used to keep us back and saying that, oh, we giving y'all positions of power, but they not wielding their power. They're not using their power because they're afraid of, one, losing their access, losing their money, losing their fame. They're afraid of losing all that stuff. So that's why they will never back up. So when people say, hey, well, you got to get your people in place and hold them accountable. Okay, our people in place. Now what? How do we hold them accountable?
The shit ain't gonna happen. And I mean, I love that you played that video also, because unfortunately, it's like people are so driven by this two-party system, and they want to blame everything and make everything political, when they need to start looking at the people and stop looking at politics. I've been saying it from the beginning. If you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit. It doesn't matter what the color of your skin is, what political party you're affiliated with, what religious affiliation, none of that shit. When I said to my mans earlier, Trump, Pence, horse shit, Biden, Harris, dog shit, I don't vote for shit. He couldn't get that, because it's like, well, you had to make sure that you voted for what's saying. No, I didn't, because I'm not gonna. You say I throw my vote away because I didn't vote for Biden. I feel as though I throw my vote away if I vote for Biden. So no, fuck that. Because my biggest thing, and then he was like, well, you know that Trump is a racist, this, that, whatever. I said, yes, I also know Biden is a motherfucking racist. And with Trump, you know it in your face. I don't like shit to be behind the scenes and hidden and all that shit. Fuck that. I want to know who my enemy is. Show me exactly who you are. Do
these people not realize that Biden, all the racist shit he's said, all the racist legislation he's pushed, he's architect. These people act like they don't know this stuff. And this stuff is, this is my problem. I'm an American citizen. I choose not to participate. That's my given right to not participate. But I also study, because I want to see where we going wrong at. I want to understand where we going wrong at. I feel like the only way we can make this system, change the system, is by stop participating. You can't keep participating in something that is not functioning in the way that it should. This is not a functioning system. Nobody can tell me this system is functioning normally. Nobody in their right mind can tell me that, because when you have former presidents, like when Bernie was making his push, Biden was dead in the water. If you follow the politics, and see, this is the problem. Most of our people don't follow politics until 4 years, every 2 years maybe, but mostly 4 years when it comes to the presidential. They don't follow this shit. They vote president and all this shit, and then they go to fucking damn sleep. But when you follow this shit, Biden was getting his ass kicked.
Yeah. Until
James Clyburn said, "Hey, you've always been our guy. You're gonna be our guy."
Yeah.
And he won South Carolina. And then Obama came in and he stepped on Bernie Sanders, and he made Elizabeth Warren drop out. He made Buttigieg drop out. I guess because they promised them positions in the cabinet if Biden won. See, when you got shit like that happening, how do you expect a fair shot? How do you expect to even get your guy in position when you got a machine like the Democratic Party, the DNC, that will squash anything that would show sign of a threat? Anything that will show sign of a threat. How can you plan to compete? So that's why I say until this system is reset, broken down, reset, and brought back up the right way, which I think will never happen, then why are we even participating? Because we're participating in something. What I think we're participating in our own demise, because we're receiving none of the benefits for our vote.
Well, at the end of the day, I participate in the voting system because I'm looking at what's going on my local level and national level and my tax rate. See, I believe I vote based on what works for me. I already know that there are parts of the system that is very much corrupt, and I already know, like, you can't change it overnight. There are certain controlling factors. I get that, but what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to spend time studying a system and then become a spectator. I'm putting money into the economy. I'm putting effort. I'm putting me out there. So I'm not going to sit back and say, hey, this is, it's all corrupt. I'm not going to do nothing, but I'm going to watch and see what's happening. I don't get that.
Well, I mean, but it's not just watching and see, but it's just the same as if you're just for instance, double dutch. You're sitting there, you're waiting for your turn to jump in. If you don't see your turn to jump in, you don't jump your ass in. Right. So that's essentially what I'm doing, because if I don't have a person in my area that's showing me that he or she is going to make a real change, then why would I just go to the voting booth just to get a fucking sticker and say, yeah, I voted?
But again, you already know the system. You're studying it. You study this way more than people that I know vote, who actually get out there and vote. But you're saying that you rather, in double dutch, I am going to find me an opening and I'm going to jump in, and I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to be an opportunist in that regard. I want to be a part of that game. I want to be in that. I don't care if I can jump in and boom, them ropes didn't happen. All right, let me try it again. All right, let me try it again.
So when it comes to well, not your city council. Okay, local elections. Let's just stay in local elections, right? Mm-hmm. So your local elections, Fool, you probably can chime in on this. You got your city council,
right?
And then after your city council, who's hired in the city council? You go right to the
county commission,
county commissioner. Then you got the mayor. Okay, so those can affect change locally. Absolutely. I do agree with that, but if you don't have a person, if there's not a person that's running that aligns with your ideals, whether what side or whatever, Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever, if they don't align with your ideals, why would you vote?
Why not? Why not find someone closest to what it is that works for you and your personal situation? Why not? But my point is, how can we have these people make these changes on these higher levels if we're not researching and investigating policies at the lower level?
Here's the way that gets fixed is what he's been saying for a while and what other people have been saying. We need, as a block, to completely remove ourselves from participating until they give us what we demand. Mm-hmm. See, they use us so that they can get something. That's a fact. If we vote for them, they can get what they want. Once that election is over, what do we get? Nothing. And it keeps happening. The only way to shift that is to say, we not going to participate. And what I've been saying for a very long time is, and I'm talking more so on the national level. Local level is different. I'm speaking strictly on a national level. When you start talking about national politics and numbers, the vote is split down the middle with white people. You got Democrats on this side. You got Republicans on this side, independents, libertarians, whatever you want to call it in the middle, whatever. But on a national level, they need a block of people to sway one way or the other to win elections. So if you look at it, Republicans win when we don't vote. Democrats win when we do. When Republicans win, we don't get shit. When Democrats win, we don't get shit. That's the thing that has to change. And unfortunately, as a block, nobody wants to do it because everybody's individualized. When you start talking about our people, we're like this. Because we're like this, it's separated. The day that
I don't know about you, but I know what I got out of Trump's presidency. I know I got a lower tax rate, so I got something out of that. I may not have gotten all of the, all of the issues that we have going on as a people, as Black people, and injustices and all that. But I got something out of that.
But once again, you just proved my point. Like this, you got something.
Yeah.
As a people, as a group, because mind you, you're in a different tax bracket also. So there's a lot of people that could have even voted for him that look like us. They didn't get shit, not even that tax break. So the fact of the matter is,
everybody got a tax break.
Nah.
Under Trump, everybody got a tax break.
You have to go by the numbers. If you made a certain amount, if you had made a certain amount of money, you got to go look.
Everybody got a tax break, and I'm saying that from the stance of a person who's looking at every year when we process the W-2s and the 1098-Ts, there was a difference in the tax table across the board.
And I want to ask you.
I'm not talking about the higher. I'm talking about it put everybody in a good situation under the Trump administration.
I want to ask you this. What you just said. When you start talking about this tax break and the numbers, trust me, people on the lower tax bracket, whatever that break was, it doesn't affect their lives like that. That's the whole point. Fuck a tax break. We need actual shit that can create wealth.
Right.
So as far as our people, once again, as a group with anything that can actually affect us as a whole, we don't ever get shit. And until we separate and show them, until our people understand the power that we actually have, ain't nothing going to change. Nothing is going to change because everybody is individualized. Everybody want to do shit separate because you got rich motherfuckers. I'm pretty goddamn sure anybody who is wealthy, and I ain't say rich, I said wealthy, and they're melanated, they voted for 45. Guaranteed. Without question.
I don't think so.
What?
I don't.
The reason why that's true is because they see more of their money and they're wealthy. Oh. They know when a Democrat comes in office, especially like Biden, they're going to lose money. They know that because when you start talking about the wealthy move based on finance.
Right.
This country moves on finance.
Right.
The reason why we can't get shit because we ain't got no goddamn lobbyists. We have zero lobbyists that can go there and say, we want this, this, and this. You know what the politician's going to say? What can you give me? That's why we have to start buying our politicians. But we don't have the shit to do it because motherfuckers don't want to do it. That $90 million.
I wouldn't say they don't want to do it. Again, I'm all about this starting on the lower levels. It to me is about the people that's starting off. Right. That's how you get your what Kamala's and all that. See, she started just as an attorney general.
Okay,
but you have to vote her into that.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Based on what you just said, when we start talking about politics and voting in this country, you ain't gonna see no commercials locally about local politics, but nationally, you're gonna see that shit for months. That's the whole thing. Yeah. We have to go by the visuals of people and how it is. If motherfuckers ain't promoting that shit, it ain't gonna matter.
Well, shouldn't we actually be talking about the fact that you do have promotions in your neighborhood, but people don't pay attention to it. Needless to say, they don't go out and vote. Not on the local level. They don't get serious until it's something like presidential elections and Senate elections.
And therein lies the problem. Because a lot of people have felt felt so left out of the system so long, they feel like me, but they may not understand why I feel the way I feel. But they just may feel like they just been left to the wayside from society, from the whole system, because it's only you're only going to go so far without getting dirt on you. The further you go up, the further you're going to go up. Trust me, you can start out with a white suit with all the morals and values and integrity you want. But if you are a career politician, and Fu says this all the time, are you a servant or are you a politician? Right. So if you are a career politician, you may start out with the integrity. We see this shit from AOC. She's in your area. She started out with the most progressive, this, that, and the third. And you look at her now, she's a fucking Republican. If you look at her stance and her ideas now, and it's like, damn, how she went from a bartender to saying, oh, we need Medicare for all, this, that, and the third. I'm going to attack the establishment and I'm going to go against them and everything. And then as soon as she gets in position.
She has an agenda.
But that's what I'm saying. But as soon as she gets in position, her true colors comes out. Mm-hmm. She goes back to her roots, because now it's everything Hispanic. What about your black constituents that you were pandering to all this time while you were on the ground? So it's just fuck them, right? So see, that's why I say if I keep saying this all the time. This system has to be brought down. It's on its way. We see this coming. China's taking over. The Democrats have handed us to China. We get 90% of our imports from China.
Everybody get 90% of their exports from China.
But how are we a global power and we don't have shit? Power, but we're a global power because of our military. We're not a global power because we do shit.
Economics.
We manufacture shit. We don't export shit no damn where. Everything comes here.
Yeah.
We import damn near every damn thing.
Yeah, I honestly think that China is setting themselves up little by little to be the dominant.
And this is what the
you
whole.
See that? I'm saying that because like I see that in all different areas. You know, just like Biden did his traveling with the whatever, going to the different countries, and like he was in the UK, and then they're having talks and this, that, and the third. And I don't know if y'all noticed, but you got places that's like right there at China. Australia, that's right there, right near it, and they get a lot of their import and exports out of China. They are actually going to suffer a bit because they're saying things about certain areas of China, the humanity, the way they're treating certain people, and they are canceling certain imports, and they can't really afford to, but they're doing it on the strength because of the relationship that they have with us.
Yeah, but
you know that.
But our relationship with them is about to get fractured if you're not paying attention, because little by little, China's been giving us nice little paper cuts. They know they can't fuck with us militarily. They know that. That's why we occupy over nine countries right now illegally, because nobody can fuck with us because we spend so much money on our military and not infrastructure, not everything else that needs to happen in our own backyard. But China is already saying they're not going to accept the US dollar for a lot of shit. So once that happens, what you think going to happen?
I think that I see different trends. Just like, man, you had the whole conversation. Well, I was having the conversation with you about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, and they're shutting down the bit mining and all that. And it's like, I see certain things coming out of China that's pretty much saying, you know what? We have a choice. We don't have to do this if we don't want to. You need us. We don't need you. That's what I'm getting out of it.
Yeah.
We don't need you.
And just a little nugget about just to go back on Juneteenth. A lot of people don't even understand the significance of that day, because everybody think it was because, they didn't tell Texas about the slaves in Texas and all this kind of stuff. It wasn't about that. The Texas operates how they operate now. They operate like they don't fuck with the rest of the United States. They act like their own little entity. So basically, the Emancipation Proclamation had no bearing over the southern states.
Right.
So they just kept it business as usual. They're like, man, fuck what he talk, whatever they got going on up there. It wasn't until the damn general came down there and said, hey, y'all gonna motherfucking damn do this shit or else, basically. And then that's when they freed the rest of the slaves. And
True.
matter of fact, it was black slaves that came down there and told them that they were free. And you know what the other black slaves said? The same shit they do now when we try to tell each other, try to lift each other up. They're like, man, get the fuck out of here. We ain't listening to y'all. And it took the white general to come down there and say, hey, y'all free. And they were like, oh, okay, we's free.
And they also knew the cost, what it would cost them as a state to continue operating the way that they would. That meant no federal funding for them.
But this is the whole misnomer about the Civil War. The Civil War was not about freeing slaves. And if you don't know that, go read a fucking book. The Civil War was about capitalism and economics. That's all it was about. Abraham Lincoln said it his damn self. He said if he could do this shit without freeing the slaves, he would. Everybody always think that it wasn't slaves up north. It was slaves up north too. It was slaves down south.
Yeah, the North had their fair share. But
it was all about capital. It was all about the Union succeeding. That's all. And it was going to cripple the United States and England. That's all it was about. And if you don't know that, please go look it up. It's out there for you to look up. But please don't get romanticized with all this. Oh, the Civil War was about freeing the slaves and Emancipation Proclamation and all this stuff. Because how you gonna have a Juneteenth celebration and hell, you don't even want to teach damn critical race theory in the damn classroom?
Let's talk about that.
I'm gonna read.
How do you feel about that?
I'm gonna read something to you that based on what you just said.
Okay.
Things we never asked for. Juneteenth to be a federal holiday. Lift every voice and sing to be played before an NFL game. Empty corporate Black Lives Matter statements and Harriet Tubman face on a $20 bill. They can throw shit at us. We ain't asked for that shit. But when we ask for shit, oh, we can't do that. We can't find the funding for that. Nah, that's impossible. We can't do this. Obama's monkey ass saying, oh, I couldn't do anything specifically for black people. But you would do, but we got a new president that just did something specifically for fucking Asians. Why the fuck could you do something for us? How does that work?
And another population of people.
It never. That's why I like to call bullshit. But we got people in our circle, me and Maine, that will come out their face and say, "Well, they can't do nothing specifically for us." Why not? Well, they can do it for other motherfuckers.
They can if they wanted to. That's my thing. You know, it's like. With the right people backing certain people, I think they could if they wanted to. That George Floyd bill should have been pushed a long time ago. So was the one what was that senator in was it Alabama? He just passed away recently. He was in the Selma March. He has a bill too.
Oh, you're talking about John Lewis. John Lewis. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but again, it goes back to you have people in place, and they have their right people in place. They're only gonna let their people in place. So just I don't know if y'all know, Nina Turner's running for a position. I think it's a congressional seat in Ohio because somebody left their seat or whatever. And Hillary Clinton comes out now. Nina, if you don't know who Nina Turner is, she was part of Bernie Sanders' campaign and all this kind of stuff. So anybody that's associated with Bernie Sanders, the establishment hates. Just keep that in mind. So Hillary Clinton just came out and endorsed her opponent. Now she's a black woman, but if Hillary Clinton is endorsing her, then we know she's in the pocket. We know she's in the pocket. Because so that's why I say we got these people in place. I'm gonna share my screen real quick because I wanted to show y'all the so we have all these caucuses. They have all these caucuses, right? So the Asian group has their caucus, the Hispanic group has their caucus, and of course the black we have our caucus, right? So let me see. I'm gonna try to blow this up so everybody can see. So I want y'all to read the highlighted point that I have on this. The Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus is comprised of members of Congress of Asian and Pacific Island descent and members who strongly dedicate to promoting the well-being of Asian American and Pacific Islander community to ensure the legislation passed by the U.S. United States Congress to the greatest extent possible provides the full participation of Asian American and Pacific Islanders and reflects the concerns and needs of Asian American and Pacific Islander community, right? Cool. That's great. Here's the Hispanic caucus. The CHC addressed national and international issues, crafts policies that impact the Hispanic community. The function of the caucus is to serve as a forum for Hispanic members of Congress to coalesce around a collective legislative agenda. The caucus is dedicated to voicing and advancing through the legislative process issues affecting Hispanics in the United States of America, United States, Puerto Rico, and Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. Cool, great. Now we're going to come to ours. Since its establishment in 1971, the Congressional Black Caucus has been committed to using the full constitutional power, statutory authority, and financial resources of the federal government to ensure that African Americans and other marginalized communities in the United States have an opportunity to achieve the American dream. So, why do we feel like it, if we are concerned about our issues only, is divisive? Nobody else does. Nobody else does. Nobody else thinks this way. No other group thinks this way. But we always have to intertwine our issues and interject ourselves in everybody else's issues. You're muted.
Wait. So what do you think they mean by other? What did it say? Other what?
Marginalized group. So that's another trigger word for diversity, urban, colored, minority. I mean, so we already know who's all wrapped up in minorities. So,
and here's the thing with what he's saying that people need to realize, and this is how we put it on the simplest terms. When you talk about the different groups, no matter what group it is, whether it's Asians, whether it's Hispanics, white people, of course, whatever the case may be, we never get invited to their parties. Whatever cause they have, we're never invited. But we join them. But we are the ones that they quickly come to our shit. It's always like that. And then if we have something where it's just us, or we a hate group, or we not inclusive or anything like that, but when they do it, it's cool. How is that a problem? Because the one thing about life is self-preservation. That's a fact. If I'm not mistaken, that's a universal law. Self-preservation. You're supposed to look out for your own. If you're supposed to look out for your own, why is it a problem when we do it? Why are we angry? Why? It's always something when we do it. That is the fucking issue. That's why for me, and I've never had a problem with saying this, I will always and have always been unapologetically me. And I'm not going to stray away from that shit. Because that right there is how the shit is supposed to go. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to be someone else? Be who you are, accept who you are, and don't be ashamed of it. Who gives a fuck about what somebody says about it? Who gives a damn? Because they don't care.
So you don't think that means other Black people from other different countries other than
no
Africa or African descent?
Because if that was the case,
I'm asking.
But I'm saying if that was the case, they would have said it just like in the Asian one. They said who they were talking to. They said exact specifically. So if they were saying anyone from Africa, any African country or whatever, that's what they would have said.
Because when the fact of the matter is, when you start factoring in the hood, the one thing I can attest to about the hood is everybody lives in the hood.
True.
Everybody. It's some white motherfuckers sprinkled in there. It's any demographic is in the hood. But every demographic ain't in the motherfucking suburbs. They're not. And they're not deep in the suburbs. That's why they stick to their own. That's the reason why you don't have a bunch of people. You don't have a bunch of people from the suburbs wanting to move to the hood. But you got a bunch of motherfuckers from the hood wanting to move to the suburbs because they want to get from around that shit. And when you start talking about that term minorities, there's a specific group of people who are classified as minorities. One in particular, white women. White women are minorities. So all the shit that we allegedly can get as black people because we're minorities, they can get it too. Once again, nothing is specifically for us. That's the issue. That's a problem that motherfuckers don't want to address. They real good with their words. I give them that. They very, very good with their words, but we have to start using that shit against them, and not enough people are.
Right.
That's another issue, because our alleged leaders, one of them, Al Sharpton, he says minority all the goddamn time, just like all of them, especially on the major news networks, whether it's CNN, all that shit. Pay attention to the verbiage. That verbiage means something, and cats don't catch on to that shit. Why not be unapologetically black, unapologetically melanated? Say that shit. They won't do it. They won't call out and say, well, minorities also include white women. Why should white women be able to get the same shit that we get when we deserve it? They won't say that shit at all.
Yeah.
Hell, when you start talking about welfare queens are white women. They get the most. By the numbers, they get more shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have to pay attention to language. That and even when redlining started, so they had something where you don't have to identify. You identify with whoever you want, but they tricked us with the census. So we get what's on the census. You're not of Hispanic or something like that. It's something crazy that it says. It says black but not Hispanic or something like that.
Not Hispanic descent.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I just found this out. You could you could say I'm whatever. You could say I'm white because 65% of Mexican Americans are classified as white.
And there's a group of people, I think the Muslims that come from Saudi Arabia, whatever, it's a group. I think they're in Detroit. All of them are classified as white. All of them. Literally all of them. That's why when you start factoring in the numbers, because I don't know if y'all ever saw the interview. It's an interview with Muhammad Ali, and he said 40 million black people. How he gonna say 40 million black people in the 60s, but it's the same number now? They say that same number for us, the population in this country. Yeah, same number from 40 years ago.
13% is always that number. 13% with 13% of the population.
So you telling me that the population growth that they talk about all this shit, but our population hasn't grown? That doesn't make any sense, especially when we know that the white population are the ones that don't what they call that shit when they don't reproduce. They're the ones who their numbers are going down. So how are their numbers going up but our shit going down? That doesn't make any sense. These are the things that motherfuckers don't talk about.
This is stuff that
you don't have a few theories behind why.
Okay.
Mixing of races. The mixing of races.
Nah, no. See, that's the thing.
You don't think so? Again, the theory.
It's not that you can't say it's the mixing of races, because once again, when you start, maybe it's been in the past 10 years, I would give it 10 years, where they actually have that on shit where it says mixed race. So if let's go back 10 years. If that wasn't an option, how could the number still be the same? True.
They took that out as an option.
Mm-hmm.
To say so it's not there. Either you're Hispanic or you're black or you're Caucasian is how they actually worded. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Again, it was a theory.
So I think we answered that question. I think we kind of answered this next question. My next question was going to be: are black people still stuck in the 60s by trying to include themselves in the system not designed for them? I think we answered.
Inclusivity is still real. We want to be in. But the point is, then we were doing it because we were so excluded from everything. You know?
Yeah.
I think that was the popular thing. We just wanted we wanted to be included in the basic human rights that across the board that everyone had. And we had people fight for that. Now, I think what you're asking is, are we still living in that time with want to be included in it? But what are we not included in at this point?
Shit. One thing about goddamn
legislation,
How are we not
economic.
included? Everyone can vote. Everyone is a voice. Everyone can do
But
something.
guess what they have to vote on every 25 years for us
What?
to vote. Every 25 years they vote on the Voters' Right Act. So what 10 of the 10,000 black elected politicians have ever said we need to get that as a permanent thing on the books, as a permanent law? Why is it? And Biden even bragged about it. He said, "Hell, come on, man! I voted for it for another 25 years for you to vote."
The shit is it's annoying. It's annoying because the talking points that have always been there, it goes over the head of people who are so pro vote. Like they are so cool with that. That's an issue. Like, I don't have a problem if you feel the way that you feel, but call people on their bullshit. Literally, just call them on their bullshit. Don't sit there and preach to me for the status quo. Give me an independent thought. Don't give me some shit you saw on CNN. Don't give me something you saw on Fox News, because it goes both ways. We really, when I think about us, the fact that we've had a blueprint for what, 30 years now? How long Powernomics been out? We've had a blueprint forever. We've had a blueprint forever. But the fact that motherfuckers won't jump on that's a problem to me. When you think about that $90 million that Black Lives Matters got, do you know how many bills we probably could have got passed by paying off some politicians with that $90 million? If it was used the way it should have been used. But it don't happen. They keep brushing us off. And I'm pretty goddamn sure Ice Cube still ain't had that conversation yet with this administration.
Well, Dr. Claude Anderson, if everybody don't know, he was actually in politics. He was an actual elector in the Electoral College. So he's been in politics for 40 years. He's had this plan for over 40 years. Can't nobody tell me that Joe Biden don't know who Dr. Claude Anderson is. But he don't want to have a conversation with him. He don't want to have a conversation with Dr. Sandy Darity from Duke, who came up with a paper about reparations. He don't want to have a conversation with them. He'd rather talk to Charlamagne the God. He'd rather talk to Cardi B. They'd rather talk to all these rappers and these entertainers, because that's who they know y'all will listen to. They know, they gonna listen to Cardi B. They'll listen to Charlamagne. They'll listen to all these rappers and entertainers. But Dr. Claude Anderson has the blueprint. Powernomics. He has it laid out. It's been laid out. But they won't talk to somebody when my car is something going on with my car, my automobiles. I'm not going to the barber and say, "Hey man, what you think is wrong with my car?" I'm going to the Honda place, to the automobile shop. That's where I'm going. I'm going to the expert. Why go to a novice? You know why you go to a novice? Because you don't really want to fix the problem. You just want to have the appearance that you you want to fix the problem, but you don't actually want to fix the problem. If you want to fix your relationship, you don't go to your auntie, you go to a therapist. Going to your auntie is giving the assumption that giving the look that you want to fix the problem, but you actually don't want to fix the problem. You just want some advice from somebody.
And I'm to the point now when we start talking about local politics. What we need to do, since we can't do what we need to do nationally, as a whole, we need to start controlling local politics, so that if we at least control local politics, we have control over a budget. We have control over what can be done in our city.
That was my point earlier. That was my whole point earlier.
But that's where education and understanding comes in, because people need to understand that every election is not national. That's the whole thing.
Right.
Because it wouldn't take much to flip it to show motherfuckers that it's not about what you're seeing on TV and these and national politics, because honestly, the only thing that they can do is provide the money for the budget. You can get some money from the government or whatever, but what are you doing locally? And you also have to make sure that those types of motherfuckers who are there aren't already bought and paid for.
Right.
Because it's a lot of corporate elected officials that are local. They're not making the money, but because they don't make the money that they make in national politics, anything they're offered, they're going to take. That's why it depends on who's there. And that's the reason why you have motherfuckers like, I forgot that dude's name that was from California, but whatever that alarm system that used to be, I don't know if it was Cobra or something like that. He was a congressman, I think, in California. Why would they even allow a motherfucker from a CEO of a company to be an elected official? Fuck that. That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't be allowed, because it's already a conflict of interest. It's already a conflict. And then a lot of them motherfuckers, they be on boards and shit like that. How is that possible? That shouldn't be right.
The director of the Pentagon that he just hired, he was on the board of Raytheon. So that's a conflict of interest right there. A weapons company, the director of the Pentagon. What do you think is gonna happen?
Yo, man, did you see the private chat?
No. Okay.
If it's possible, like I said, if we're gonna go out with a bang, let's say fuck it.
Okay.
I'm with it. I think.
So Jay, you said you wanted to touch on CRT.
Now what now?
Critical race theory.
Oh, sorry. You was giving me the acronym. I thought you was talking about something else. Yeah, I mean, don't y'all think so? Florida, if I'm not mistaken, was the first state to actually pass the bill to say that they don't have to teach that now in schools or whatever. Like they're blocking it. They're being blockers. Mm-hmm. But don't y'all think that that's a valid subject? Essentially, I think to me, it's like saying, you know what, this didn't even happen. Let's take out this theory because that's all it is. But this thing has been around for years. The study of it is it's critical thinking. I mean, to me, I don't understand why. But obviously, Florida started the ball rolling, and it's coming to a state near you where they're not going to teach this particular theory in our public schools or private schools.
To me, that all boils down. It's also a situation where it boils down to the parents. And if it boils down to the parents, see, I'm a firm believer of everything that has happened with all this homeschooling and motherfuckers being home and shit like that. It showed how you don't need to have your child in this school system. You just don't need to have them in the school system. But when you got people so comfortable that it gives them their out, so their kids are not home or whatever, and it's easier for them to not teach them, then that right there causes the problem. What I've always said was, when all of this shit happened, when everything happened, there's one group of people who are neglected and could be utilized right now with what's going on. And they are retired teachers. Mm-hmm. There's a retired teacher in everybody's neighborhood. Yes, everybody's neighborhood. So how hard would it be to have some kids set up in that retired teacher's garage, teaching them, and you don't have to have them in the school system? Because I know somebody who homeschools their children, and they said it don't take 8 hours to do that shit. You can do that shit in 4. You can do it in 4, and the kids can be doing whatever they're doing constructively, and they could actually be learning something constructively. Because the one thing about school, that's why I said I think it would be good to have them around other kids, but in a different type of setting. Because the one thing that I enjoyed about school, and I always would say it, is the interaction with your friends.
Yes. That
right there, to me, you never want to take that away, because you always going to have to, we human beings, you're going to have to interact with people. Mm-hmm. So, and at the same time, when you start talking about children being around adults 24/7, they need to be around their own to do the shit that children do. I was one of those people that grew up around a lot of adults. So that saying, stay in a child's place, I heard that shit my entire life because I was around a bunch of older people. It was a given. So I truly enjoyed being around my friends. But now with video games and the fucking social media and all this other shit, it has taught kids to be separated and be glued to this. That is an issue. So if we could kind of get back to the way things were, I personally believe it'd be better.
So let me say this for those of you who don't know. When Jermaine said CRT, I forgot it was the acronym, but it's critical race theory, and I'm gonna tell y'all what that means. So the critical race theory is an academic concept it's more than 40 years old. The core idea is that racism is a social construct that is not merely the product of individual bias or prejudice, but also something embedded in the legal system and in policies. So essentially what Florida's doing is saying, we're going to take this out. We don't want to go there. So when instructors and teachers make their lesson plan, they can't touch on that. How do you not? How do you not?
So
and they are, that's like, to me, that's like saying taking critical thinking out of anything that's history related. To me.
Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, didn't they take out the word nigga in what's the name's books? Mark Twain? Didn't they do that shit? I think they did that shit years ago because they always, it's always about changing the narrative.
Yeah, I just think that this is we got to be careful with this.
No, we don't.
I think so.
No, we don't. See, the whole thing is, I always act when I hear stuff that start, that's trending and whatever. And like you said, this has been around for a long time, right?
Yeah, it's been around for a long time. It's actually been, it's gotten to the point of being, studied on a higher level, like higher education, like whole papers and thesis has been written, and certain policies are based on people writing, hey, listen, these are things that policies are based off of, So
I mean, I get that. I get that. But what I was alluding to is why now? Why is this such a big thing now? Because see, I always, when something happens, I always want to know why.
Yeah.
When the media pushes something heavily, because it's getting pushed heavily in the media, so I always want to know why. Why now? Or is this something else to keep us divided? Me personally, I think so.
Yeah.
Do our children and our educational system need to learn the whole truth?
That's what I was about to say.
Absolutely.
This is
how other countries operate. This is how normal countries operate. Right now, we are a failed state. We are a failed state as a country, because this shouldn't even be an argument. But the unwillingness for these people to look in the mirror and say, acknowledge, yeah, this happened. It was messed up. This happened, and atone. This is the problem. When you have to address a problem, that's the only way you're going to solve a problem, is to address it. To keep ignoring a problem doesn't make it go away. All it does, it keeps building up. It keeps building up. So do kids need to know that? Because I think I heard somebody say, well, it's going to make some white kids feel like they're bad or whatever because of their ancestors or whatever like that. No, it's just telling the truth. It's just, and we wouldn't be having this conversation if that was part of the educational system in the beginning. But we know why it wasn't part of the educational system, because they wanted everybody to forget it. We're told to forget everything. As a black person in this country, you're told to, oh, that happened a long time ago, forget it. But 9/11, remember that. The Holocaust, remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Everything else is remember that.
And
remember
you better be careful as to how you reference it too.
Right. Remember this. But slavery in this country, forget about it. It was a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? So we have to have an atonement as a country. It has to be an acknowledgement and an atonement. And that starts from the top. But you're not going to get education. You can introduce critical race study in school all you want to. If you still got racist fucking damn parents, you're going to come home and get deprogrammed any damn way. So the same people, so it's a catch-22. The same people who say, who will post a video and say, hey, you see how kids interact with each other, whether they black or white, and they just be friends and stuff like that, until somebody interjects something and it changes that. Until somebody says to that white kid, hey, you don't need to be playing with that black kid, or that black somebody say, hey, you don't need to be playing with that white kid. Now that taints a child's innocence.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you be a proponent of a child's innocence and then say, well, I need to teach you that, what you did, so teach the whole history. That's all. Don't leave nothing out. Teach the whole history from the beginning to the end. And for us, our history didn't start in this country. Well, it did, and it didn't. But we, as far as the human race, we know started in Africa. Everybody knows that, should know that by now. So that's what I would say on that.
I thought that was just very interesting, and so I want people to know that it's going to come locally to your town, and you need to be out there saying, "Hey, listen."
Well, South Carolina already shut it down, but you have to do due diligence as a parent and say, I'm going to teach my kid what they need to be getting taught any damn way. Right. I'm not going to depend on the fucking damn school system to teach my damn kid shit that they supposed to know.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So you have another video for us?
I do have another video actually. And then you want now food is the one of the girl talking, right?
Yeah, the white chick talking.
Okay. I'm playing it after this one. So this is
U.S. intelligence has said that Russia tried to interfere in the last two presidential elections, and that Russia groups are behind hacks like SolarWinds and some of the ransomware attacks you just mentioned. Putin, in his news conference just now, accepted no responsibility for any misbehavior. Your predecessor opted not to demand that Putin stop these disruptions. So what is something that concrete, sir, that you achieved today to prevent that from happening again, and what were the consequences you threatened him?
Whether I stopped it from happening again, he knows I will take action, like we did when this last time out. What happened was we, in fact, made it clear that we were not going to continue to allow this to go on. The end result was we ended up withdrawing. They ended up withdrawing ambassadors. We closed down some of their facilities in the United States, et cetera. He knows there are consequences. Now, look, one of the consequences that I don't know, I shouldn't say this, unfair of me. I suspect you may all think doesn't matter. But I'm confident matters to him, confident matter to him and to other world leaders of big nations. His credibility worldwide shrinks. Let's get this straight. How would it be if the United States were viewed by the rest of the world as interfering with the elections directly of other countries, and everybody knew it? What would it be like if we engaged in activities that he is engaged in? It diminishes the standing of a country that is desperately trying to make sure it maintains its standing as a major world power. And so it's not just what I do, it's what the actions that other countries take, in this case Russia, that are contrary to international norms. It's the price they pay.
This is coming from a guy. You know how many elections the United States have been involved in, have interjected worldwide? 130 since World War II. 130. They interject themselves in other people's election all the time. It's what they call regime changes. They did it in Libya. They tried to do it in Yemen. I mean, I had a list over here somewhere. I tried to find it. But it's like 130. So for him to sit up there and was like, we don't meddle in other people's election, it's like, come on, bro. It's just,
Well, he also said like they have done, which, they did things that swayed certain sides.
But Russiagate has been disproven, right?
Now what now?
Russiagate has been disproven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they didn't meddle in 2016 election.
Mm-hmm.
The independent company
being reported.
No, the independent company that they hired to investigate it said, they wrote an article and said there's no signs that they interfered in the election. Mm-hmm. But they still push that narrative,
right?
That Russian narrative and that's the strength of the media.
Was that because those companies were based out of Russia?
No,
traced back to being in Russia.
No. They pushed that narrative because they didn't have anything else to give the American people but Russia. They wanted to paint Donald Trump as a Russian asset in Russia for the last from 2016 to 2020. That's all you heard. Russia. No legislation for the average American people, black people, nothing. It was just Russia. So it kept us distracted from the real shit that should have been getting done. So just more lies from these corrupted politicians. I mean, I don't know if y'all having buyer's remorse for voting for Biden. Please don't be ashamed. Ain't nobody gonna say we told you so. Nobody gonna say, hey man, look, because y'all wanted to
have buyer's remorse.
Because I mean, just because he ain't tweeting.
don't mean things ain't going on. I get it, but I have no buyer's remorse.
The only thing he ain't doing is tweeting. That's it. They the same motherfucker. Him and Trump the same motherfucker. Both of them old. Both of them got sexual harassment charges. Both of them oligarchs.
What?
They both wealthy. Part of the elite in this country. All right, so I'm gonna play Fool's video, and we gonna. I think we gonna.
You for biting, boy. You hating.
But Biden's a piece of shit.
Oh boy.
No, leave Biden alone.
Oh
leave
boy.
him alone now. That's your president, so.
He ain't my motherfucking president. We can't hear it.
No.
I forgot how you got to add this on here.
The sound.
You got to do something specific when you doing that.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. All right, let me back it up.
About 8 years ago, I lost my baby during pregnancy, which is the reason that I actually left the healthcare field, because I was working with pregnant women, primarily, reproduction and endocrinology, and I just found it was a little bit too difficult for me to provide quality of care given my recent loss. So I went back into full-time working in the gas and oil and recruitment sector. And to this day, I am running a global gas and oil recruitment firm. And the reason that this is important is because of what I am seeing as an executive in this industry happening right now as a result of the COVID vaccines. And it's something called succession planning. And if you don't know what that is, look it up. But basically what it is companies need to plan for what's going to happen as their staff move on. Rather, they move up the line, they retire, so on and so forth. And succession planning is something that I help companies with professionally by offering them recruitment services. So they'll come to me and say, hey, we're going to need 100 guys to, staff this rig, so on and so forth. And so we'll provide them that service. Well, what's really interesting, what's happening right now, and it's actually mortifying, not just interesting, is that executives are having their HR staff and their managers, superintendents, foremen, so on and so forth, go through and look at the staff that have received the vaccines, and they're planning to have to replace them all within the next 3 years. What does that say to you? This is something that's, it's got some of these guys literally in tears as they're going through the company and literally checking off all of these individuals that have taken the vaccine, knowing that most likely in the next 3 years, they're going to have to plan to replace that person. What does that say to you? And this is a really big thing in the industry that I'm in, and a lot of talk going on around this at the moment, because these massive companies, massive gas and oil companies, are looking to have to replace thousands of personnel. And I'm in that line of work that does the staffing for these large gas and oil companies, and they're pretty petrified as for what's going to happen to their staff, but also their businesses, because they project that they're going to lose, roughly half of their personnel. About 8 years.
Now, for anybody out there listening to that, that's like real time with somebody telling you what's going on with what they see. Are you going to see that on mainstream media? No. But if you listen to certain videos, if you watch certain videos and you hear what's been said, especially from Dr. Tenpenny, who said within the next 18 to 36 months, we're going to start to see the mortality rates go up. She said, just give it time. We have a bunch of videos. The reason why I chose to play that one, because it's only 2 minutes long, but there's a lot of stories that are out there, and it's starting to get scary. And something I'm going to touch on, and I was looking for the video now on my phone that hopefully we could play that one too. I said, and I think I might have said it on this show. I know I definitely said it on Overflow. I'm not getting on the plane anytime soon. Matter of fact, I did say it on this show.
Yeah, you did. Like 2 episodes ago.
No. This is a while, because remember, this is when you came to Georgia.
Yeah.
This is back then when I said that.
Okay, so yeah.
So the thing about it is, there's a report right now. Four British airline pilots have died less than a week after getting the shot. And the airline is in panic mode because now they don't want any of their pilots who got the shot to fly. I find it very ironic that I said this months ago of why I'm not getting on the plane. So the other factor to all of this is, what is something that can happen to anybody when you fly? Blood clots.
Blood clots.
That can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
But one of the side effects of the shot is blood clots.
Blood clots.
It's a proven fact. So people are rushing to get on a plane, not realizing you're putting your life in danger because of that, and because you got pilots who got the shot.
Yeah,
That's
and I'm
very dangerous.
I want to kind of piggyback off that and say that, especially if you already had other issues with like high blood pressure, any inflammation where you're taking meds or whatever, you definitely want to be careful with that.
I want to take it a step further from what you said. You're a woman. What are one of the side effects of women taking birth control?
Clots.
Thank you. And now there's a lot of women who have probably taken birth control, or who are taking birth control now, who got the shots.
Probably.
That's so fucking dangerous. So dangerous. But this ain't something that's talked about at all.
Did you see the video, the part of the video where they were talking, what we were talking about earlier with the engineer and the 2 doctors? Did you see the one where they were talking about the reproductive part?
No.
No, I only saw it. I saw the 15-minute one. I didn't see the whole. I didn't watch the whole.
Okay, I'm gonna see. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can't find it real quick.
Yeah, Fool. I'm gonna tell you, Fool. You're absolutely right. Most of the birth control out there in different forms, like you have the pill, you have people getting shots, you have implants, you also have the IUDs, and it's been well known that they can cause clots because of how they work. Essentially, they stop women from ovulating, and there's a process in that. It's so funny, Jermaine, because you know the guy that we like to watch, the Carb Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, when I tell you, he broke down the whole fibroid cyst thing with women, and he correlated that into how we're eating and what we're doing and all those things. It's like I had this really big picture. I'm gonna have to send it to you so you can see it.
Okay.
Like he went in on that, and he talked about how birth control works and why it could potentially cause clots and cysts and this and that. Eventually they burst and things happen. And so I have a different perspective, but you are absolutely rightful. Certain women taking certain birth controls, clots happen.
I'm gonna play this video for everybody out there that's watching. We've been going in for about an hour and 30 minutes. Please like, subscribe, share. We appreciate y'all tuning in. And once again, we're unplugged, so we're gonna touch on things that y'all may not hear, other places. You may not hear this on other platforms, mainstream platforms. So we're gonna go there a little bit. We're going to always keep it respectful and respect everybody, but we're just not going to hold punches on things that we feel like need to get out there. So
right.
We've got two kinds of harm to patients, short-term and long-term. Both of these are alarming. They're worrying from what we already know. You've got the possibility of the driving of escape mutants, for which we know that we were getting escape mutants, and we don't know to what degree that is responsive to the vaccine, but it's at least quite plausible. And then we have the risk of ADE, which it turns out we don't have the signal for. So that's good news.
Yeah, currently.
All right. So far. But that's great. Okay. So I think that's a pretty good encapsulation of worries in this neighborhood that are
the one that was unexpected is the coagulopathy associated with the adenovector.
Okay.
That one was out of the blue. So the coagulation problems, which are almost one of the central hallmarks of COVID disease.
Right. So am I wrong to think that that's just more spike protein cytotoxicity?
I think it's a plausible hypothesis.
Okay. All right. So
wait, which means in English, that means he agrees.
No, it means he's
a scientist. He gets what I mean.
I'm translating it for the non-scientists.
And the tone in your voice suggested there's not another obvious, more plausible hypothesis.
I
fail to.
I think it is the most compelling current hypothesis that I know.
Okay. All right. So I think we have taken care of the big pieces of the puzzle that I was hoping to hit, aside from the one where we save the Earth from COVID. Are there things on your agenda that you
wanted to talk a little more about the repro-tox?
Yes. Well, indeed. We did it, but what should people be thinking about the fact that we at least know that it...
So the thing that this signal about the relative concentration of these novel lipids that we've never had before in humans, that we don't have long exposure to in animals, and the signal in this limited rodent study, hopefully, which was not done under good laboratory practices.
It wasn't the real
vaccine. And it wasn't even the RNA encoding spike.
Right. And you couldn't, because you'd want to find out where the spike actually went.
But I spoke to the director of CBER about all this, and he said, that was then. We have a new data package now, and please allow us the respect to evaluate it. Okay. And Peter Marks is among the best we have at the FDA. Response to thalidomide. Okay. And that has guided the whole legislative structure and organizational structure of the FDA. That's all about reproductive toxicity and potential consequences in terms of birth defects. And I hope that Pfizer has submitted to Peter a comprehensive genotoxicity and reproductive toxicity panel in the non-clinical studies, but even then, rats are not humans. And what we've learned is that reproductive risks don't always manifest in the first generation. So I don't mean to scare, but I do mean to speak honestly and with integrity. And I think the honest position is, if you were to ask me, Robert, do you know what the reproductive consequences are for this signal? I have to tell you, no, I don't, because we don't have the data. And if you then ask me, has there been any examples in the past of reproductive effects of agents in female reproductive tissue that were not anticipated by the animal model testing? I would have to say, yes, there is. So I think my position on all of this goes back to the bioethics, if you'll forgive me. There has to be full and open disclosure. I think we do owe it to people, to the audience, to those of us who are facing this crisis and wanting to do the right thing. I think this gets back to it's your body. I think that the burden is on the government not to tell us what to do, but to convince us based on the information what to do. And I think that they have an obligation. They do have an obligation. This goes back to the bedrocks of bioethics, to full and open disclosure. And in the case of the potential reproductive implications of this aggregating signal in female reproductive tissue, I think that there needs to be transparency. And I think that we have to not assume that reports such as dysmenorrhea, which are occurring, and you can appreciate if you're a young woman and you're having menstrual irregularities, it's kind of embarrassing socially to talk about it. And you're not going to rush off to the internet and go post it, even if you're a millennial. I don't think. So I think that we as a public health community, if I can speak for the public health community, really should err on the side of transparency and disclosure, and trust the American people and the people all over the world, the adults who are competent to make decisions for their own health. And for those adolescents and infants and youth, remember, they cannot give informed consent. They can't. By definition, the only people that can give it for them are their parents and their guardians. And I do feel pretty strongly that these things that I hear about now in multiple cultures, this strategy, we're going to give out ice cream to get the kids to get vaccinated, that's just wrong.
Yeah. No, it's tantamount to evil in light of the very scary implications of the data.
And we're gonna look back. We're gonna look back. There's been times when, as a culture many cultures facing major crises, war and other things, where there's been decisions made to cross ethical lines. And in U.S. history recently, in our experience in World War II, we had the internment camps. Germany's had their experiences, heavens knows. It's easy in the fog of war, and I can tell you from being on the front lines of outbreak response, it is like war. And it's easy to make judgment calls where you say that the benefits merit compromising some of our core ethical principles. And invariably, in retrospect, we end up saying that was a mistake.
Yep.
And I'm going to leave it at that.
All right. So
yeah.
With that being said, for everybody out there, especially for anybody who has kind of disagreed with what I've been saying for the longest, you might want to start asking yourself one question: what if? And to me, you have to say what if, because nothing is definitive right now, because it's still a trial.
Yes.
That is the part that people tend to forget. And they say, oh, it's been approved. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. That right there is a fact. When you start talking about approval, there's a time limit on approval, and there's guidelines that need to be followed. Because of the emergency use, both of those have been negated. That to me is a major problem, and people need to understand that and I think Maine can kind of speak on this more than I can. There's a lot of shit approved by the FDA that actually kills us. So if them motherfuckers ain't approved this, that's a red flag for anybody, to me.
Yeah. I mean, and just in light of everything that's coming out now, we know that we don't know for sure. They're still investigating, but we can safely assume that this came from a lab leak in Wuhan. This is the same thing that a certain president got banged on for a whole year for saying it was racist for him to say what he was saying. And I don't know if he was saying it because he's an asshole or he knew some shit. You know what I'm saying? Who's to know with this guy? But now that the reports are coming out that this came from a lab leak, we've seen the emails from Fauci. Fauci's organization has funded the lab.
Don't say his name.
Oh,
say he kind of toxic on YouTube. But go ahead, keep going.
Excuse me, Mauchi. His institute funded the Wuhan lab. The lab is called the COVID lab. It's actually called what the disease is. The disease started miles away from. The first outbreak was miles away from this lab. So we can safely assume that this came from. It was genetically modified in a lab. So now that you know that it was genetically modified, now you have to say, well, stuff do leak out of labs. That's possible, but now the same people who funded this lab are the same people that are getting paid by the crack scene that they're pushing. These are the same people. Everybody is one big circle. I fund the problem. I got the cure for the problem. I get paid from the problem. Got fund the problem. Got the problem. Paid from the problem. One big circle.
Let's throw something in your circle. The president now is saying he wants to investigate the Wuhan lab.
Yes.
But there's a picture of his president at that Wuhan lab. So that means that he already knew about it. You're going to investigate some shit you already knew about because you were a part of it, because you were part of the administration. That got to be the dumbest shit I have ever seen in my life. And nobody tends to talk about that one. You were a part of the problem. You knew about it.
So the whole time, let's recap. The whole time we've been taking advice from Mauchi. He said, wear a mask. No, he said, don't wear a mask. You don't need to wear a mask. Mask does you no good. Then he comes out and said, well, we said that because we didn't want everybody to go out and buy masks. Well, you could have simply said, well, don't go out and buy masks. Make your own mask. Just cover your face. Then he said, we're going to wear it too. Now it comes to find out that he knew about this shit in January. He squashed it and kept saying that, no, it couldn't come from a lab. It came from natural. And then now he's saying, well, it's a possibility that it came from a lab. So, and now he's the same person that said, well, you can take the jab and it's safe and effective. I don't know how you trust a guy like this. I don't understand how you trust a guy like that. But, this is your body. This is your life, your body. You got the information is out here. You have to make the decision.
I want everybody to look at this comment that's up there and read that. That right there is major. That is major.
Oh, ooh.
That is major right there.
Wow.
That's why, see, the fact of the matter is that, and for me, y'all know I don't care. I don't care what people say in reference to me of how I feel. What I've been saying for the longest is, when you respond to something that I say, give me an independent thought you didn't get off of TV. It does not happen. They can only tell you what they see on TV. And the responses that I've been getting lately, once they start hearing the truth, which to me is so sad, is it's too late now. It is what it is. And I heard one person say, I don't mind being a guinea pig. What? What? So we live in a country We're the most experimented group of people in this country. It's melanated women. That's a fact. And you gonna let them shoot something in you to test on you? Nah, I'm good. I'm sorry. I can't rock with that. And I feel so bad that motherfuckers are cool with it and that they lined up for it, considering the government is offering $400. Supermarkets in Georgia are offering you money. New York is offering a goddamn hamburger and fries. Jersey offering you a beer. Krispy Kreme offering you donuts. The governor of Ohio putting your name in the lottery to win $1 million or whatever the fuck it is. And what's the other one? Students can get a full scholarship. Word. Oh, and they offering inmates, you can get half of your sentence taken off if you get the shot. If it's so effective, why you got to incentivize people? People don't see a problem with that. You muted, I think.
Don't forget the guns.
Always something, yo.
You can get you a gun. A jab for a gun. When they've been trying to say that guns is the problem. So I'm gonna play a snippet of one more video before we get off. And
yeah, just to clear up the whole blood donation after getting the injection. I think it depends on where you go. I'm looking at, because I donate blood, obviously 2 different places in New York, and where I go, it says that you can donate as soon as you get the vaccination if you want to. You can't do the convalescent, whatever that is, plasma. You can't do that, but you can donate blood.
Okay.
So this is and this is coming directly from the New York Blood Center, and it's also the same for the what's this other one? I looked at the Shepherd Blood Bank. That's down in Georgia. That's one of the ones that I would normally donate to if I was home. So yeah, so I don't know. Maybe there's a specific blood bank that won't let you donate certain blood, but if you get vaccinated, you can donate blood. And at blood center, you need to look up your blood center and see what the protocols are.
Now, Jay, what you saying that? With you knowing that what you just said, would you still want to support that blood bank and give your blood, knowing that they're gonna be giving people tainted blood? Think about what you just said.
Tainted?
If somebody gets a shot and they donate blood, do you want that shit in you?
I mean, if I'm in desperate need of blood, yeah. Why not?
Well,
but how about this though? I haven't gotten it, and I donate blood quite often.
That's good because your blood is good. The point is, if somebody were to need blood, they need to know if that blood the person got that shot, because that shot is damaging to their body.
That's good to no. I'm not. Listen. At the end of the day, life and death says I'm not going to be on my deathbed trying to figure out if this person got vaccinated if I need blood, honey.
I think you might want to put that up there to say, if God forbid if something happens and I get blood donated, I do not want blood from a person who's been vaccinated.
Well, I'm not going to turn it down.
Well, to your point. To your point, though, who's to say they separating that shit any damn way?
Right. We don't know. That's the whole point. You don't know.
Who's to say
I'm not. God forbid, I'm not going to be on my deathbed saying, "Oh, I don't want the ones that's vaccinated." They don't. First of all, like you're saying, you don't know if they're separating it.
I guarantee you, like Tashawn said, here in Chicago, there you can't. So okay, in Chicago you can't, but I guarantee you, in these other places, they ain't asking you if you got vaccinated or not. I highly doubt is somebody doing that.
But on most of these websites that I'm looking at for donating blood, there is a section that says that's like facts. Can I donate if I get the vaccination? And it varies from it literally says, I'm looking at this one for New York. It says, if it's this one or that one, you're good to go. If it's this one, not so much. So that's what I'm telling people, consult the website to see whether or not if you can.
Yeah. I'm gonna play this just a little bit of this video real quick, and then we're gonna let everybody go.
Steve, I became aware of you,
and I suggest everybody please go subscribe to this channel. This guy is another woman that he works with. She's a doctor as well. I mean, super intelligent, and they know their shit.
After reading your article on Trial Site News, in which this is actually kind of a living article in which you...
And I want y'all to take notice to these titles. So the guy on the left in the white shirt, he's the inventor of mRNA vaccine technology. And Dr. Weinstein, he's an evolutionary biologist. So
you've been updating it as information has come to light. And I must say this article, I'm always troubled by the loss of the useful term red pill by people who have borrowed it for various purposes that I don't think are legitimate. But this article functions as a red pill. You read this and either something's wrong with you, Steve, and you've completely misportrayed the data and there's no problem and something's up with you, or if the data is anything like what you present, then the interpretation is quite clear and absolutely startling. So I will just say, I believe that what you've pointed to is accurate, and alarming is an understatement. I would invite people to look at it for themselves. I would invite people to show it to others. And most importantly, I would invite them to pay very close attention to what is said in response. You will get a lot of pushback when you show this article to people, but that pushback is not substantive in my experience. It's emotional.
Crickets.
Well,
right.
You either get crickets or you get some kind of squid ink phenomenon where a bunch of ink shows up and suddenly the person you're talking to is nowhere to be found.
I think the term for a lot of the blowback is gaslighting.
Well, that hasn't happened yet, I think. I think the feedback that I've gotten is they'll look at it for about 30 seconds and say, I don't believe this, and it's the cognitive dissonance. Yeah. It's the people who took the blue pill,
right,
and are living in the matrix, and everything is good, and this can't possibly be true, and they immediately write it off. But they can't cite anything that is wrong with it. They can't argue any of the points, and they'll delve into ad hominem attacks and say, oh, well, this was written by an engineer. He doesn't know anything. Right. So, and to me, that's a victory, because it says that everything I've written, they can't argue with. So the only thing left to attack is to try to attack the person when you can't attack the arguments. And that's what people do.
And I would just say that, looking at a complex puzzle like this, one needs some kind of tools. I mean, undoubtedly in what you've written, there are things that aren't going to turn out to be right. Undoubtedly. You've just written so broadly that, with this being such a large live issue, undoubtedly there are errors. But the point is, even if you read this thing and you say, what if what he's saying is 50% right? It's still so alarming that effectively the response would have to be the same. Something has gone wrong. We are in danger, and we are not behaving rationally. And you can detect where we are not behaving rationally in numerous places that I hope we will get to. But do you want to outline the basics, like the bullet point, the top 10 bullet points that people ought to be aware of that you're calling attention to in your article?
It's so hard because it's just this unbelievable story, right? And let me just tell you how it got started.
However it works.
Okay, sure. So it got started when my carpet cleaner came and he was wearing a mask. And I said, "Hey, we're all vaccinated. You can take it off." And he said, "I just got I got the Pfizer vaccine and I had a heart attack 2 minutes later." And so he spent the night in the hospital, and he says, he's kind of recovering from it. And I said, how are you doing now? And he said, still, feeling bad about it. And he mentioned also that his wife, also her hand, she'd, hold a glass like this, and her hand would be shaking like this, and the water would be coming out. And she was perfect before. So I have two people. We have very few people in my house because of COVID. So the fish guy, the carpet cleaner, and the house cleaner, right? And so to have not just one person, but him and his wife, I mean, that is like lightning striking twice in the same place. So if it was really a safe vaccine, then what I just saw was impossible. So that's kind of what triggered me off. on this. And then I had been on this Canadian physician's call with Dr. Byron Brittle. And he showed this chart. And he said, normally when you vaccinate someone, the vaccine goes in the shoulder and it stays in the shoulder, in the shoulder area. And what happens is the antibodies are generated and they attack the this antigen in the shoulder and it wipes it out and we're good. But what Byron Brittle did is he did a FOIA request to the Japanese government to look at the biodistribution data. And what he discovered is that it doesn't stay in the shoulder where we all thought it should stay. It goes throughout your entire body. It goes to your brain, to your heart.
So that's two problems. One problem is it isn't where it's supposed to be ideally.
Where we thought it was, where we thought it was for all the
and the other
previous vaccines.
The other problem, and this is your area of expertise, is that what these vaccines do is they encode spike protein alone, so that the immune system will learn to recognize spike protein and will catch it quickly when one is confronted with COVID. But the spike protein itself, we now know, is very dangerous. It's cytotoxic. Is that a fair description?
More than fair, and I alerted the FDA about this risk months and months and months ago. And
so
we had a discussion about it.
And to be fair, the FDA did not think that the S1 subunit and the spike protein was toxic. And so the FDA knew about the biodistribution. And one of the scary things is that the biodistribution like peaks in your ovaries. And
so just to nail the point home, they did know.
They did know.
I did send them the manuscripts. So and their determination was
it's a harmless spike protein.
That they didn't think that was sufficient documentation of the risk that spike was biologically active.
Right. Okay, they did not believe the spike was biologically active. So that was the big mistake.
We now know the spike protein is very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Is biologically
We also know, so if it was very dangerous, but it did what the brochure on these vaccines says it should do, which is lodge in the membrane of the cells that are doing the transcribing, it would be a lot less destructive, right?
I think that's fair, and you're right. It's not just the documentation about the vaccine. It's the prior literature that was put out by the people that developed it, that developed these clones. So they were aware that there was a risk of spike being biologically active and having adverse events if it did not stay stuck to the cells that were transfected, that got the RNA and made it. Okay. And they used a genetic engineering method of putting a transmembrane domain on it to ensure that it stayed anchored and stayed put. And they did limited non-clinical studies to say, looks like it stays stuck. Right. We engineered it to stay stuck.
They did.
And they published that. Here's the thing.
Specially engineered.
Okay. Is that that's generally not good enough in a non-clinical data package. So before we get a product released to use in humans, in the normal situation where we're not in a rush, we have some really rigorous tests that have to be done in animals. And revealing that spike gets cleaved off of expressed cells and becomes free is something that absolutely should have been known and understood well before this ever gotten put into humans. So I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Well, that's
the smoking gun.
Let me just make one thing clearer. You said it very clearly, but lots of people who aren't familiar with this aren't going to get it. Okay. So the RNA gets into the cell. It is translated by the ribosome into a protein. In this case, it's the spike protein, which is the best target on the coronavirus.
We could debate that, but go ahead.
But it's at least a very good one. It's a prominent one.
Good target. And nobody argues with that.
If the antibodies grab onto it, the most likely thing to happen is that they will block it from doing what it does that facilitates the entry into the cell. So if everything works the way the brochure says, it's a good target.
After about 5 days, though, the antibodies have to be.
So the whole reason to use an adenoviral vector or an mRNA is not just to generate antibodies. And a lot of the data, and a lot of us that are deep in this data, think that the way that they're really providing the protection is by cellular cytotoxicity. So you're getting CTLs against it. And that's the reason to use this gene therapy-based technology is not just to generate neutralizing antibodies, but to generate cytotoxic T lymphocytes.
Okay, you and I are about to go down the rabbit hole because this is biologically fascinating, which I want to avoid doing. But you just said...
You muted.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the link to the rest of it in the chat. So
thank you. I was just asking for that because I can smoke a bag of this.
Yeah, I mean,
well, you know what I like? I like getting into the science and the biology of how this thing was actually put together. So that's why they have my attention right now. This isn't theory. This is actual science.
right. Yeah. So and you can actually go to. I think he has a link on this actual video where you can go watch the whole interview.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Hey, look, I think we've done our job for the last 25 episodes. So
yeah, it's been an experience. I've really enjoyed it, y'all. I've had a good time. So we're gonna take a break and we'll be back, fresh material, more guests. It's been a learning experience for me. I don't know about y'all, but it's been a learning experience, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna come back 25 more in the hole, bigger and better than ever. I want to say it myself. I don't know if I always say it, but listen, subscribe, send it to your friends, tell them to subscribe on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. We're gonna be around. Just because we're not doing the live thing does not mean we're not around. Food is always around. You need to at least, follow us on Instagram. He goes live all the time. And I'm looking forward to the next season. I really am. Thank y'all.
I really do hope that we provided y'all with the content that you wanted to see. We didn't want to just come up here and give y'all bullshit. When we do come back, it's going to be bigger and better. You are still going to see content up there. It just won't be the weekly show. So it's going to be slightly different, but something will be up there. And this gives everybody a chance. Like I would say, this is my request for everybody who's watching right now. If you've ever taken anything good away from any of our shows, share what you got from the show with somebody that you know and be like, yo, you need to go check this shit out. Because to be honest with you, I have a feeling our subscribers are probably going to grow even more while we're not doing our weekly show.
Right.
That's the thing about it. And I know it can happen like that because you never know who's going to see it. So sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, everybody out there, we appreciate the love and the support that you all gave us, because hell, in 25 episodes, we ended up getting over 400 subscribers.
Yeah.
Which we never even thought about. And my goal is to push it so by the time we come back, we at 1,000, if not more, because it's gonna get crazy, because we about to have some crazy times, everybody. So I honestly would tell you, be prepared. Don't fall victim to the bullshit. If anybody's job and or school is pressuring them to get the shot, reach out to me personally. I will get you the documentation. You do not have to do that. They cannot do that. And if you actually look up the Nuremberg Code, you cannot be forced to take something that is experimental. You can't be. You can go look that up. Yes, right. That's something that doctors talk about, but they're not pushing that. And I actually have an article right now where doctors are getting compensated for every kid that gets the shot. So I want y'all to think about that. That's very, very dangerous. They get like $400 every time a kid gets the shot, based on when they report it. So that's a side hustle for them. So they treating your children as a side hustle. It's not good. Mm-hmm. So enjoy yourselves. Like I said, we definitely appreciate the love and support, and we will most definitely see y'all soon. And make sure you go check us out. Everybody, each one of us has a separate YouTube channel, Facebook page, or whatever. We constantly posting, and I'll make sure that I put that up there too, so y'all can see it.
All right. We appreciate the love, guys. We'll see y'all soon.
All right.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world